Hey guys, Ivan here, and we got some very interesting news in bodybuilding today, and the first one is of course that Big Ramy is officially out of this year's Mr. Olympia. Now where did he announce this? He announced this on an interview with Bob Cicherillo, which was interesting because not so long ago Big Ramy kind of had a little bit of a beef with Bob Cicherillo. I know how crazy it sounds, Big Ramy having beef with anybody, but basically that's what happened. I mean, Bob Cicherillo was saying that Big Ramy should not be competing anymore. And if I remember correctly, Big Ramy kind of took this the wrong way. He felt like the organization was telling him to stop competing, but it was just Bob Cicherillo himself. He works for those guys, but it was just him saying his opinion, saying that Big Ramy should end his career while he's still in the top before he declines like all the way, I don't know, out of top 10, which seems like it's probably gonna happen if he continues getting worse and his placements are getting worse. Eventually he would probably wind up out of top 10. Anyways, in this most recent interview with Bob Cicherillo, Big Ramy basically says that he's not going to be competing, but he also talks about his future plans for the next show, for the next Olympia. He talks about why he is not competing, so let me show you this part of the video.
Is Big Ramy going to compete? Big Ramy going to be in the Olympia?
We need to get break in Olympia this year, and we're working to getting better and better for the next show.
You're big as a house.
So no, about that only. No, I need my body not get any problem when I prep because I have inflammation on my elbow for long time. See what happened in my body first. If everything come back normal until Arnold, maybe I will do Arnold. It's a good thing. If it's not enough time, I will go Olympia.
Alright guys, so you heard it, it's official. Big Ramy is skipping the Mr. Olympia this year, and I'm saying skipping because he is gonna come back. He is not done. His career is not over, not just yet. By the way, you're looking at a 2022 Mr. Olympia comparison, and we're gonna talk about what Big Ramy could actually do if he competed this year, or should he continue competing, or should he just retire? So once again, he says he's not going to be doing this year Mr. Olympia, but he's not done competing. And there was a part in this video, you should watch the whole thing, it's like an 8-minute long interview. Bob Cicherillo was kind of pushing the idea of Big Ramy retiring throughout this entire interview, and he asked Big Ramy if he would be happy with his 2 Mr. Olympia wins if he retired right now. And Big Ramy was like, no, he wouldn't be happy. Like, even if he won 10 Mr. Olympia titles, he enjoys doing bodybuilding, he enjoys competing, as he says, it's in his blood, and that's it. Like, he just wants to compete, to enjoy bodybuilding and, do well. And that's it, really, that's all we need to know. So I'm sure he's happy, but he's not satisfied, not just yet. He feels like he has more fuel in that tank and he wants to continue doing this. The reason why he's skipping the Mr. Olympia is because of the inflammation that he's got in his elbow. And he needs some rest. He can't prep with the issues that he has with his joints. So he needs to take some time off to recover, to heal up, and then do the show. But this is what I'm thinking. If you pay attention to Ramy's physique at the 2022 Mr. Olympia, it was all wrong. Like, everybody before that Mr. Olympia had Big Ramy winning it easily, hands down. Everybody was like, Big Ramy winning easy, and then let's talk about a second. Everybody was like that. Nobody expected Big Ramy to end up in 5th. Why did he finish that low? Because of his many injuries or whatever is happening to his physique. So his arms, triceps and biceps both atrophied for some reason. His glutes had these huge bumps in the upper part. His lats, his back also was much smaller. It seemed like it atrophied. He was still very big. He was probably the biggest guy in this lineup, but he had so many things wrong about his physique at this show that he placed that low. And it wasn't a conditioning problem. As you can see, his conditioning was good. It was really good. I think he peaked quite well here. But there was the talk that the reason why he looked so wrong, also his quads were messed up as well, that the reason was actually the peak, that he didn't peak right. Then they tried to fix that at the Arnold. And what they did for the Arnold is, they brought him in fuller, bigger, more conditioned, better, for sure. He was probably bigger than ever with the best combination of fullness, size, conditioning. But those injuries, those problems, whatever they were, that were present at the 22 Mr. Olympia, were still there at the Arnold Classic, the same things. Maybe those bumps on the glutes weren't as visible, maybe the dents in the quads weren't as apparent, maybe he was fuller and so his legs looked better, his arms too, and his back did as well. But even though he was probably at his 100% peak, it still wasn't the big Ramy. His physique, it wasn't the same the way it was when he was at his best. Certain things could not be fixed, and in my opinion, will never be fixed. He tried to fix it somewhat with a stem cell treatment, but I don't know how much can that really help. Maybe it will over time. Maybe he can be, I don't know, 20% improved. But still, like, is he gonna win the Mr. Olympia again? I don't think so. I really don't think so. Even though, once again, he looked crazy here. He looked super freaky. It still wasn't enough. He couldn't even crack the top 3 at the Arnold Classic, and he was a lot better than the Mr. Olympia. So if we talk about Big Ramy's legacy, then yeah, he should probably retire while he is kind of at the top still. Look at this leg. This leg is not gonna be the way it was back when he was at his best. But let's say he improves a little. Let's say he manages somehow to come in, I don't know, let's say 20% better. If he does that, then maybe he can still be in the top 5 at the Mr. Olympia. And if he enjoys competing so much, then yeah, sure, I mean, top 5 is still a great success, top 5 in the world. It's not as much of a success for somebody who won the Mr. Olympia twice, but it's still a huge thing, and it will get him sponsors, it will get him money, and most importantly, he enjoys it. So if that's the case, then sure, he should continue doing it. But this year, we're not going to be seeing this guy. Next year, however, maybe, and I would say most likely. What do you guys think? Tell me down below in the comment section. Alright, next up we got a guest posing appearance of James Hollingshead, who is now being coached by Milos Sarcev, and from what I hear, he is 320 pounds right now, in a very good condition, in a very good condition. Very pale, but you know, it works for him. It's kind of like Ivan Centopani back in the day, a very pale skin, but it does look kind of, you know, grainy. And so you can see that he's in a very good condition, that he is humongous, that he's really big. But like, if you talk about this guy's potential, you know, at the Mr. Olympia, because he did win multiple pro shows, he competed at the Mr. Olympia multiple times, but he never really did much at that show. I think last year he didn't even place. The year before, I think he was 16th, like actual 16th. So yeah, I was kind of always expecting a lot from this guy because he's a freak, like he's a monster, he's a mass monster. Once again, 320 at this condition, but I think the problem with James is just the thickness of his core. As you can see, like his midsection is very thick, very thick, and you know what? It probably has to be this thick in order for him to be able to squat 800 pounds for reps. So yeah, that's kind of the way he's training. He's doing a lot of like regular back squats. He's doing deadlifts. He's doing like bent over rows with like 5 plates or so. He's doing like those exercises that really require a lot of core strength. And I think it's a pretty safe assumption that that's the reason why his core has gotten this big. And it's making like his arms look smaller. But truly nothing is small on this guy. He is a mass monster, a legit mass monster at over 300 pounds. He has enormous legs, crazy legs, but they would look even freakier if his waist was smaller. But it's not small at all. Also his back, I think his back is also really super thick, like from side to side. Like he has a lot of thickness in that back. And even though he does have like pretty high lats, if his waist was smaller, his back would look much better in the back poses. But unfortunately, once again, that's not the case. Now, obviously right now, this is like the off season, and once again, he's being coached by Milos Sarcev now, and he talked about what they are doing as far as the approach, and they are like loading up that glycogen like crazy. So James is eating a ton of food, and that's one of the reasons why his waist is a little bit blown out, but it's not like he has a bubble gut. Like, he doesn't have a gut. Nothing is protruding, really. His stomach is flat. It's really his core. I think it's really just the muscles around his midsection that have gotten like really strong, really thick. I think a couple of years ago, this guy had a ton of potential to be like one of the top bodybuilders. I saw it, I thought I saw it, but now, after seeing how big his waist has gotten, I could see this guy winning more pro shows. He's going to be doing the Arnold Classic next year. I don't really see him winning an Arnold Classic, but you know, top 5 is reasonable. And this is not a knock on James or his physique. I'm talking in context of him potentially being one of the top guys in the world, like top 5, top 6 of the Mr. Olympia, because I thought he might do it, considering how fast he was growing, and that he actually had a decent shape when he was younger, but I think his physique went to a different direction, and I think it's not right. It's not where it needs to be. You know, waist to everything else ratio is too off, if you ask me. Of course, he's not gonna look like this on stage. His waist is gonna get smaller once he diets down. And if he keeps growing at this rate with Milos Sarcev now, he's gonna be a legit freak. But is he gonna win the Arnold Classic? Is he ever gonna be like a top guy? I don't see it. But like maybe top 10 of the Mr. Olympia someday? Who knows? Freak factor is a big deal. It can lead you a long way for sure. If you guys happen to be looking for a really tasty protein powder that's not like all other protein powders, this one is different. Like, it's a mix of whey, casein, egg white and beef protein. So really it doesn't cause any bloating that you get from other whey protein powders. You can have it right before the workout. It feels like you're eating real food, and you are, just in powder form. And it tastes super delicious. Any flavor you choose tastes so amazing. Like, if you guys try it, there is no way you're not gonna like it. But if you don't like it, you can get your money back. But I promise you guys, you're gonna love it. And if you wanna try, the link is down below in the description of this video. Just click on it, browse the Old School Labs website, choose whichever flavor you like. But if you wanna help me to make all this awesome content for you guys, if you wanna support this channel, just make sure you use the code EVAN, which will also give you a 15% discount. So thank you guys so much in advance. Let's continue. Alright, next we got a physique update of Regan Grimes at 6 weeks out of Mr. Olympia. His weight right now is 270 or 271 with the conditioning pretty much the same as it was at the show he did, maybe a little bit more watery, but that's about it. And he says in the caption here that he's maximizing everything, and that's something that Milos Sarcev talks about very often. And in my opinion, he should have maximized everything in the off-season. I mean, he did make a lot of progress for sure, but he probably could have progressed even more if he was willing to really maximize everything throughout the entire year working with Milos. But from what I hear, he didn't really maximize everything that much. So he did make some progress, he could have made more progress, he could have earned that victory in Spain. It wouldn't have been a controversial decision if he was like 10 pounds bigger or had 10 pounds to afford to lose to get more shredded. But it is what it is. I mean, very controversial decision. You guys know my take on it. He didn't deserve that victory, but he got it somehow. They gave it to him, and he is going to the Mr. Olympia. And as you can see right here, he's very excited about doing the Mr. Olympia, and I'm sure he's gonna bring his absolute best. I mean, we deserve that. Like, the fans deserve to see him at his absolute best after he got this qualification the way he got it. The top comment here is Photoshop is back, meaning that his Instagram photos looked much better than he did look on stage against Nathan. And if you read the comments, he says that's the biggest compliment that he can get, because yeah, I don't think he's really photoshopping these photos. I think he just knows how to find the right lighting, and also he knows how to pose well, to do his strongest poses, to really not show his weaknesses. And that's what we can see in this photo. He does look very good. But once again, like I said before, if it was Nathan going to the Mr. Olympia, I would see this guy in the top 10 for sure, potentially even like battling for that 6 to 8. But as far as Regan, I don't know if I can see this guy in my top 15. You know, maybe 16, somewhere around there, but probably out of top 15. Top 10, no way, no way. Here's another posing video that he posted. So yeah, a lot of potential. He has a lot of potential. But did he fulfill it? You know, to the point where he can place in top 10 of the Mr. Olympia? No, not even close if you ask me. Nathan, sure, top 10, top 6, top 8, somewhere in that ballpark. But Regan, in my opinion, no. I believe that he will maximize really everything. Working with Milos in this prep for the Mr. Olympia, that he's going to be at his absolute best. And I'm looking forward to actually see that, to see him compared against the other guys in that third call out, to see how he compares against all of them. Right now, he looks good. He definitely looks better than any year before. This is definitely his best version so far. And yeah, we're gonna see this guy at the Mr. Olympia stage in 6 weeks from now. What do you guys think about Regan Grimes or whichever part of this video? Tell me in the comment section down below. Like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more videos like this, and if you want to support me one step further, you can buy any of the Old School Lab supplements, but please make sure to use the code EVAN for a 15% discount, and that's how you can support me and this channel. Thank you guys so much. See you soon, all the best, and bye bye.